Hi everyone, this is Gina again. Welcome back to my channel. Today is Friday, July 10, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys my journey coming here to Canada. So I have a lot of friends back home who's asking me how and why did I apply as an immigrant here. So it all started in year 2000 when I came here as a tourist. So at that time I visited different places. So I started in West Coast and then East Coast. So the first place I visited was Vancouver, where I met one of my classmates in university. He was the one who told me to apply as an immigrant. And I was saying, like, I don't think I'll be able to survive in this kind of weather because I actually came and visited Canada on the winter time. Can you imagine? So, yeah, so after my tour in East Coast, we agreed to meet again in Vancouver International Airport. So then he handed me the forms and the guide on how to apply as an immigrant in Canada. So when I went back home, of course, my life back to normal after the tour, and then when I saw the guide again, the package that he gave me, I decided, you know what, let me complete it. So at the time, you have to complete the form manually. So I completed the form, I followed the guide, and then I submitted it to the embassy. At that time, it says it takes 7 years for your application to be processed. So I don't mind because I was working then in the bank, and I said, you know what, if they will approve me, it's okay. If not, that's also fine. Once in a while, they will, send you a correspondence on, let's say how to, how much fee you have to pay, or on my part, I have to give them an update if, let's say, there are some changes that happen to my life. Let's say I got promoted from work, so I have to update them with my new position. Other than that, you just have to keep waiting. So after 7 years, I finally got an update from the embassy. They're asking me to take an IELTS exam. So that is International English Language Testing System. So that's when you're going to take the test for listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So after I finished the test, I passed it, by the way, and then after I think a couple of weeks, I got a notification for me to take the medical. So after my medical, they finally requested to submit my passport, and then they sent back my passport with a visa. So at the time, I was given a 1 year to prepare and to come here as a permanent resident. I was, I'm not so sure if I'm gonna avail that visa at the time because everything is working well back home. Like I have a good career, I was in a good relationship. So I said, like, you know what, I don't think I'll be living in Canada, or I don't think I'm gonna be leaving the Philippines for Canada. But then my visa is running, and I only have basically a couple of months at the time that I really have to make a decision. So I I was already a branch manager back home in one of the bank then. So actually, the bank that I used to work was the first universal bank in the Philippines, and I decided to finally resign as a branch manager. I talked to my regional vice president, and he was actually giving me a very good offer. He told me, like, just go to Canada, get your permanent resident status, and then after 2 months, come back here and do your job. I just felt bad at the time because my first branch, I really worked hard to I really worked hard on that branch because it wasn't in a good status at the time, but I was able to turn it around. We received a couple of awards during my time then, and then leaving it for 2 months, I don't think it's fair for my staff at the time. So I made a decision of resigning, and then I told my boss that if things didn't work out here for me, I would come back, and I hope that there's still a position for me in the bank. And he said, yes, no problem. So I resigned in 2008, and um, so I resigned April of 2008, and then June 2008, after a couple of months, so April, May, June, so after 2 months, I came here, and because I already went to different places. My goal then is to look for a job. So after 6 weeks of looking for a job, I finally received an offer to work as an account manager in actually number one bank here in Canada. So it wasn't easy because I of course I was new here. I'm by myself, and I have to adjust with different things. First of all, with the language, and second is of course the commute. Back home, I was driving a car, and of course coming here I have to start over. I have to take a subway, and I have to take buses. So those are the things that I have to experience in the beginning. And when I finally started working, of course, I undergone different training, and I got settled working in the bank, and yeah. So, but I'm just gonna share to you that there's a lot of ways to come here. So what I've done, or the visa that I applied for, is an immigrant visa. So that's for a skilled worker. You can actually qualify using the point system. So that's going to be based on your experience, the people that you know here in Canada. um, I'm gonna show you guys the link, or I'm gonna share to you guys the link below, and you can also look at other options. Like if you want to study here, you can also apply under student permit. You can also apply under working permit. If you're an investor and you want to invest here in Canada, you can also apply under investor permit, or investor's visa, I should say. Yeah, so I'm gonna share to you guys the link below. But of course, it wasn't an easy journey. Of course, like you have to start from the beginning. You cannot jump from one step to another. When I say that, it's for example, just driving here. So even though I'm already driving back home, and I actually brought my driving history, because when before leaving, I took my certificate from the Ministry of Transportation back home, so that I have a proof that I'm actually driving. But it's not enough. So the first thing I have to do is to take the knowledge test, and second is of course the road test, and the third is you can drive in the highway. So there's a step by step. So you cannot jump from one step to the third step. But I can say that it's right now I can say that it's all worth it. I have no regret coming here. It wasn't like um, an easy walk for me, because I have to start from the beginning, especially in my job, because I have to take a lot of courses, and I have to learn a lot of things to perform my job. And of course, the main thing is making a decision. So coming here by myself, I have to make a decision on my own, whether it's a small decision, big decision. I'm just very thankful that I have my family who never stop loving and supporting me, and never stop giving me the right advice. And with that, I'm able to, be in the right path, and able to be settled easily. I met a lot of good friends, and of course, people come and go. Those are good people. Of course, I'm keeping them, and there are people, of course, that will come and go out of your life. Um, and yeah, so I can say that it was a really good experience. You have to be very patient. You need to have a lot of courage, because there are times, of course, that when you come or apply for a job, they will turn you down. I remember the first time I applied for store manager, if I'm not mistaken, of one of the retail store here. They told me that I am overqualified, but I really wanted to have a job. But it wasn't easy, because they were asking for a Canadian job experience, which during the time I don't have. But how can I have experience when there's really no one hiring me to get a job? But it's a patient. patient that you really need to have. And of course, you need to have a lot of prayers. You need to do a lot of prayers because that's very important. That's actually made me go through a lot of trials, and of course, like having friends is very important also, talking to your family. But the main thing is, if you really wanted to do something and you are prepared, to you're ready to do it, just go for it. Don't think twice. You can evaluate in the beginning if if it's gonna work or not, but it's not, you wouldn't really have the right result. So the main thing really is to try it, and if it didn't work, then you can, you have an option to always go back. And that's actually always at the back of my mind. So another thing that I want to share to you guys is that, living here in Canada, of course, it's not cheap. It's very expensive, especially housing. So in the beginning, I was renting a room. I was living in North York then. I was renting a room, but then I was assigned in Brampton, which is a bit far, so I cannot commute from North York to Brampton at the time. So I decided to move there. I was taking a bus, and it wasn't easy because of the weather. Of course, you need to bundle up, especially on the winter time. And in Brampton, when I was working and living there, the bus takes 30 minutes for the next bus to come. So you really need to wait in the cold weather. But I made it after 9 months. At the time, I bought my own car, and I finally got my G2 license at the time. So G2, you can drive in the city, but you cannot drive in the highway without a professional driver with you. So when I finally got my G2 license, I bought my car. And then after 15 months, when my landlord at the time asked me to, to look for a new place, I decided to purchase my first place, which is this condo. So this is actually my first condo. I've been living here for almost actually 11 years this October. I really love this place because it's close to everything. It's very convenient, and it's very lively. And for a single person like me, of course, you need to be living in a place where you can access everything easily. So anyway, yeah, so after 15 months, I purchased my first condo here. And at the time, I thought to myself, there's really no way for me to go back because I have a big responsibility. But yeah, so those are the things that I have experienced. But along the way, of course, it's not always up, up, up. There's always like up and down, especially when during a special occasion like holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year. Is Easter week, or you're celebrating Easter Sunday. So if you don't have anyone to celebrate it with, it's very difficult. It's I'm just thankful that I have a lot of good friends that I can celebrate the holidays, which is which is good. But yeah, so if you finally decided that you want to apply for an immigrant, do your research. The first thing you have to do is what province you wanted to get to settle down. Do you want to settle in West Coast? So West Coast, you can actually choose to stay in Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg. Or if you want to stay in East Coast, like me, I'm here in Ontario, Canada. You can also stay in Montreal and Prince Edward Island. So there's a lot of provinces that you can actually choose from to settle down. But of course, do your research, and it's very important if you have someone that you can rely on. Let's say if you have a relative, which in my case, of course, when I came here by myself, it's difficult. But yeah, I am proud to say that that is the big decision that I ever done in my life, and it's worth it. And for me, it's I'm so thankful that when I did that decision to finally fill up the application, um, it's a very good decision for me. So I have no regrets. Yeah, so if you guys are wanting to apply, you can, and if you have some questions, of course, put your comments below. I'm gonna try my best to answer your questions. And as I've said, I'm gonna put the link below so you can actually access the, the website where you can find all your options on what visa you can apply for that actually suits on your experience and on your goals. Okay, so yeah, so I'm gonna end it with that. Thank you so much for listening, and yeah, so that's kind of like the summary of my journey coming here to Canada. So yeah, so see you next time again, and have a nice weekend. Bye.